Rama, Rama Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Hari Hari. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Radha, Vinoda Radha, Vinoda Radhe. Jaya Radha, Vinoda Radha, Vinoda Radhe. Jai Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra. राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गिरिवरधारी यशोदा नंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदा नंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर बनचारी यमुना तीर बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितानेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्दे अहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलान् श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान् मृतांश्च जयतां सुरतोर्पङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतेर्गतिः मदसर्वस्वपादाम्भोजो राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुर्स्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु नः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः श्रीरामचन्द्रचरणो मनसा स्मरामि श्रीरामचन्द्रचरणो वचसा गृह्णामि श्रीरामचन्द्रचरणो शिरसा नमामि श्रीरामचन्द्रचरणो शरणं प्रपद्ये सुंदरते ध्यान पांडुरंग 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 सुंदरते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी करकटावरी ठेवुनिया तुळसी हार गळा कासे पितांबर आवडे निरंतर हेची ध्यान मकर कुंडले तळपती श्रवणी कंठी कौस्तुभमणी विराजित तुका म्हणे माझे हेची सर्व सुख पाहिन श्रीमुख आवडीने कदा द्रक्ष्यामि नन्दस्य बालकं नीपमालकं लसततिलकभालकं पालकं सर्वसत्त्वानां कदा कदा द्रक्ष्यामि नन्दस्य बालकम् आराध्यो भगवान् ब्रजेशतनय तद्धाम वृन्दावनं रम्या काचिदुपासना ब्रजवधुवर्गेण या कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेम पुमार्थो महान् श्रीचैतन्यमहाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्रादरो न परः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Vasudevaya, Vasudevaya, Vasudevaya. Sri Radha Vinod ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti. कौन भक्त वृंद की और प्रेमानंदे No, not at the end. Okay. No, it's not. Sit down. So, they're not. Maybe altogether they are there. Ananta Koti. What is this sound? Today's speaker is this one. He's speaking louder than official speaker. So Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. But then I was wondering, where are Ananta Koti Vaishnavas? There are quite a few here, but certainly not Ananta and Koti. Not only Koti, crore, but how many crores? Ananta. Think of this. Crore multiplied by Ananta, Asankhya. Hari Hari. So, I suppose that's the future. In future, we will have Ananta Koti Vaishnavas. We have another 9,000-10,000 years at our disposal. Really. There could be so many already. We started from zero, right? We started from scratch and we already have filled the temple. Temple is full. Instead of making cinema house full, now devotees have started making temple full. Hari Hari. And you devotees have to make more devotees. Yes? That's the idea. Yeah, we're talking, not. So those who have reached already here, in future they will keep arriving, reaching, but those who have reached, I want to express my joy. I'm very happy to see you all. Whether you are happy to see me, I don't know, but I'm certainly happy to see you all. During early morning hours. You must be very busy people. People are busy, but devotees are not busy. If you are people, then you are busy. But if you are a devotee, you are free. Free to run to the temple and listen to Bhagavatam, or you are free to preach and like that. So I don't like to say this. Address devotees as people, or in Hindi it's log. ये लोग है, वैसे that is already there. But yeah, I did say that, but then just opposite of that, we are known as Hare Krishna people around the world. That's another thing. These are Hare Krishna people. These are Hare Krishna people. Because they always chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So you are Hare Krishna people. Hare Krishna. So we'll read from and then see what happens. We'll read. First read from Canto 4th of the Bhagavatam, chapter 25, text number 12. It is on the board somewhere? Okay, it is there. न साधु में नेतः सर्वः भूतले यावती पुरः कामान् कामयमानोऽसौ तस्य तस्योपपत्तये न साधु में नेतः सर्वः भूतले यावती स्फुरः कामान् कामयमानोऽसौ तस्य तस्योपपत्तये All the Matajis together will recite. Mataji sound better, sweeter. No, never. Sadhu, good. Mene, thought. Taha, them. Sarvaha, all. Bhutale, on this earth. Yavatihi, all kinds of. Puraha, residential houses. Kaman, objects for sense enjoyment. Kamayamanaha, desiring. Asau, that king. Tasya, his. Tasya, his. Upapatyaye, for obtaining. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Puranjan had unlimited desires for sense enjoyment. Consequently, he traveled all over the world to find a place where all his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. Okay, you also were reading. Okay. That's better. Purport. Srila Vidyapati, a great Vaishnava poet, has sung Tatala Saikate Vari Bindu Sam Sutamita Ramani Samaje. Material sense gratification with society, friendship, and love is herein compared to a drop of water falling on a desert. The desert requires oceans of water to satisfy it, and if only a drop of water is supplied, what is its use? Similarly, the living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is Anandamayo Bhyasat, full of enjoyment. Being part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity is also seeking complete enjoyment. However, complete enjoyment cannot be achieved separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In his wanderings in the different species of life, the living entity may taste some type of enjoyment in one body or another, but full enjoyment of the senses cannot be obtained in any material body. Thus, Puranjan, the living entity, wanders in different types of bodies, but everywhere meets frustration in his attempt to enjoy. In other words, the spiritual spark covered by matter cannot fully enjoy the senses in any circumstances in material life. A deer, Prabhupada is giving some examples, a deer may become absorbed in musical sounds vibrated by the hunter, but the result is that it loses its life. Similarly, another example you may say, a fish is very expert in gratifying its tongue, but when it eats the bait offered by the fisherman, it loses its life. Another one, even the elephant, who is so strong, is captured and loses its independence while enjoying the genitals with a female elephant. In each and every species of life, the living entity gets a body to satisfy various senses, but he cannot enjoy all his senses at one time. Excuse me. In human form of life, he gets an opportunity to enjoy all his senses pervertedly. But result is that he becomes so harassed in his attempted sense gratification that he unlimitedly becomes morose. as he tries to satisfy his senses more and more, he becomes more and more entangled. न साधु मे नेता सर्वा भूतले यावती पुरः कामान् कामयमानोऽसौ तस्य तस्योपपत्तये. Translation again, the king had unlimited desires for sense enjoyment. Consequently, he traveled all over the world to find a place where all his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. The characteristics of King Puranjan, that's the title of the chapter. This is Puranjan episode, it's also Puranjan episode. Puranjan. Jan is person. Puranjan refers to Puri or residence. Place where all people reside is what the body. Puri. Navadvare. Puri to leva. Navadvare pure. Yes, that's it. Navadvare pure gehe. You have heard this? Navadvare pure gehe. Well, the point is, which I was about to say, it is said all over the purpose that there's a talk of some, in fact, he's a fictitious king, imaginary, allegorical. King called Puranjan. But who the real Puranjans are, that is, well, I would not say you because you are devotees. You are not people. You are Krishna Bhaktas. But okay, still, you are staying in the Puri. You still have, we all have, okay. Let me include myself also, then you will not feel bad. That we all are residing in the Puri. We are Jan, people, and the real person is a living entity, then that gets explained. And living entities reside in the body, which is described as Navadvare Pure Gehe. This body, which is also Puri, like a Nagar, Krishna Nagar, this Nagar, that Nagar, town, this also town. And in the past, there used to be different gates. Delhi has Delhi gate, this gate, that gate. And so this body is also like a fort. It's compared with so many things. Compared with the cloth also, vasam se jiranani yatha vihaya. Compared with the RCC structure, and the bones are, and the muscles are like a steel, and cement is the flesh, and like that. there's a comparison. So, this body has 9 gates. Of this body with the 9 gates, we are residents of ultimately. We do say, or could be said, we reside in this Brahmand, we reside on this planet, earthly planet, we reside in India, we reside in Karnataka, we are residents of Karnataka, we are residents of Bengaluru, and we are residents of South Bengaluru, and we are like that. As it boils down to what? Ultimately, we are residing in our homes, our houses, and the bodies are residing in the houses, and we, the actual resident, is a soul that resides where? In the body. Reside in the body. Yeah, and anyway, yesterday I was thinking, I don't think we're changing the topic. So we are under the influence of so many forces, universal forces, national forces, or state laws and rules and influence of this one, that one, then the city creates atmosphere, climate for work culture. So all these factors, and then your house that we reside in has influence on us. But the most influence on us is by what? After saying all this, we are mostly influenced by what? What? Why can't you say? By our body. You say mind? Okay, that comes later. that is on the way. Is that sounds reasonable? So we are influenced, or another word, popular word is we are conditioned souls. So we are conditioned by the Brahmand and earthly planet, and there's a global warming happening, and climatic changes are here, and that influences us. Like that. But what immediate factor that influences us, and not only immediate but ongoing. You may get out of your house and maybe, I am relieved, I'm free from that kind of conditioning or influence or relations that may be good or bad. You may get into the space, you have left the planet, you're not on the planet. Yeah, that happened. I was in America and flying, and the flight was a bumpy flight. And I thought, I wish I was on the earth this time. My flight had landed and but then, as I landed, not immediately, but after some days, there was an earthquake. And I wish I was in the flight this time. So you could get rid of these other parties and forces and factors from time to time, but you cannot just get out of this body, people, of course, feel so much frustrated, inconvenienced by so many other factors, including maybe their tapatroy is there, tapatroy, adi, daivik, adi, bhautik, adhyatmik, right there, right? Adi, daivik, demigods are causing some inconvenience. They cause convenience also, but not always convenience. Get ready for inconvenience also. So adi, daivik, adi, bhautik. So many living entities around us, and they make our life happy as well as horrible, terrible. And our body also could, I would say again, body makes our life. That's the topic, that's the theme. We try to enjoy, but at the end, what do we get? We get suffering. We get frustration. This is the law. This is the law. Hari Hari. That. Yehi samsparshaja. So this is one thought to illustrate that fact, how enjoyment turns into suffering. So Krishna says, are you listening? Yeah, so did we conclude, first of all, that the characteristics of King Puranjan, these are characteristics of us, Jan, the people who are residing in our respective puris and bodies. So, people don't like to, it was indirectly pointed out some fault in you, not mentioning your name, someone else. Oh, he's a rascal. No, such a person is a rascal. So, Hari Hari. Leki bole sune lage. There's a saying in Maharashtra, in Marathi, Leki bole sune lage. If, and this is always a lot of time the case, the mother-in-law likes to correct daughter-in-law or teach some lessons to daughter-in-law. But she's new, and she is newly married son and then daughter-in-law. So she cannot immediately begin getting on the case and chastise her, you fool. So what she does, this is a culture and a tact to teach the daughter-in-law. She gets on the case of a daughter, while daughter and daughter-in-law are present together. She points out, even if there is no flaw or fault in the daughter, she gets on the, you fool, you don't understand how to do this or how to do that. You fool, or whatever it is. So, the daughter-in-law picks up, oh, this is, she meant to get on my case, but kindly she's sparing me. So, so there are several chapters, and Narada Muni is trying to get some message across Who is the target? This is a message for who? For us. Was that message a Bhagavad Gita for Arjuna? No way. He did not need that message. While giving the message or getting across the message to Arjuna, Krishna had already said, Bhaktosi me sakha chayiti. You are my devotee. And the purpose of whole Bhagavad Gita instructions, Gita Amritam Mahat, is Manmana, Bhava Mad Bhakta, Madhya Zimam Namaskuru. Arjuna is already doing this. He's already Bhakta. At the end, in conclusion, Krishna is going to say, you become my devotee. But to that Arjuna, Krishna had said, you are already my devotee. So all these instructions are not for Arjuna. He is like a daughter-in-law and the daughter situation. It is meant for us. That is, Arjuna becomes just kind of nimitta matram or middleman or really. So we are Puranjan. Anyway, I was saying other things, how we are. One who resides in Puri is Puranjan. One who resides in the Puri, Navadvare Pure Gehe, that is Puranjan. So, and as these Puranjans, all of us, in conditioned state, we are conditioned by body, we are conditioned by our senses. Manaha Shasthani Indriyani, and the king, says King Puranjan. And the mind is the king of all the senses. Manaha Shasthani Indriyani, Krishna says. So we are conditioned, we are influenced by this. And we try to, Prabhupada is, if we are wanting to enjoy, that is not our fault. We are made to enjoy. If living entity is made, which was never made, in fact, living entity is living entity forever. Mamai vansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Lord says, living entity is mama anshaha, mamai vansho. He doesn't say living entity is my ansha, my part and parcel. No, what he says, only my part and parcel. Living entity doesn't belong to no one else. Living entity is my living entity, my mama eva. This eva is Harir Namaiva, like that, Mama Eva. So living entity does not belong to this demigod or that demigod or this one. Or doesn't even belong to the parents. Parents are also not proprietors of the living entity. Living entity is my living entity. They are mine. That's one thing. And for how long they are mine? They are sanatana. Forever they are mine. Really. So, okay, and then the purport Prabhupada is explaining, because we are part and parcel of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna is, what is his character? How is he known as? Anandamaya Abhyasat. By nature, Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha, Sachidananda Ghan. Ananda. And then Ananda Modi Vardhanam. That Ananda is always expanding. So we are parts and parcels of such personality who is full of Ananda. They also said on the day of Nandotsav, which was Navami, day after Ashtami, first Ashtami, first Navami. They're all going to celebrate, they're all heading towards, all roads were leading to Gokul. All the roads from all over Brajamandal were leading to Gokul. And lots of them were going in the direction of Gokul. Maybe some people did not know why are they going. Oh, what is happening? What? So as they were inquiring, where are you going? So the response in Gokul, they say, Nanda ke ghar ananda bhayo. What? Nanda ke ghar? Nanda ke ghar? Nanda ke ghar ananda bhayo. Nanda ke ghar, in the house of Nanda, ananda bhayo. Bhayo means has come into being or has become. Nanda ke has taken birth also, you could say. Nanda ke ghar ananda bhayo. Anand has taken birth. Anand has taken birth in Nanda Bhavan. That's why we are going. They were not saying Krishna has taken birth or Nanda Kumar has taken birth or Anand has taken birth. In fact, Anand is equal to Krishna. Krishna is Ananda. Is full of Ananda. Is made up of Ananda, and wherever, whenever, whomsoever is relishing, enjoying Ananda, must understand this is Krishna. And that makes one Krishna conscious, right? Becoming Krishna conscious. This Ananda is Krishna Ananda. Hari Hari. So we said it a few times, we are part and parcel of such God. His name is Krishna. When you don't know the name of God, then you just end up saying God, God, God. But why should we say Him God? We say Krishna. This is being personal, not just being official, He's God. So we don't, so a lot of people, they don't know God, including they do not even know the name of God. What is your knowledge? You don't even know the name of the person. And of course, you don't even know what he looks like. And you don't know his address. Oh, you don't know God's address. What do you know about God? And unfortunately, you do not know that you are His. You are His. Just see the height of ignorance in this world. Hari Hari. Okay, we left behind that. Ehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate, Krishna said. Yeah, they talk of enjoyment. The living entities are trying to enjoy. Yaya idam dharyate jagat. That also Krishna has said. All living entities are trying to exploit the material nature. And the living entities are, of course, para Shakti. Rest is apara Shakti. Bhumi, apo, nala, vayu, kham, mana, buddhi, ahankar, prakriti, ashtadha. This is apara, iyam, ataha, but different from this is vidhi prakriti me paraha, Krishna says. Vidhi, no, try to understand. Besides this, other than this dead matter all around, all over the world is made up of dead matter. Itaha, different from this, is para Shakti, Jiva Bhutam, and they are the living entities, Jivas. But unfortunately, what do? Krishna has declared this. Yaya idam dharyate jagat. They try to enjoy and exploit these material resources. This is what material civilization is doing, right? Or this is what the IT parks and information technology, for which Bengaluru is well known around the world, to learn. This is where how to exploit material nature or Mother Earth, and is taught here. This is the center of the universe or world. The exploiters are produced here, and then they're exported also all over. So those who try to exploit, meaning enjoy, I don't know whether I'm going to get to that. Yeah, there's talk of, they've insufficiency everywhere. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. This Puranjan found. And isn't that the finding of every human being on the planet? They always feel, this is not enough for me. Not enough. Buy one, get two in. It's not enough. It's not enough. More. And this is also called greed, right? Greed. Kam, krodh, lobh. And no one knows that this is Lord's creation. These are the enemies, 6 enemies, including this feeling of insufficiency, not sufficient. This is a low, this is a greed. And greed is creation of the Lord. As one, kamat krodho vijayate, Krishna, kamat krodho vijayate. As living entities try to enjoy, but they don't get sufficient enjoyment in return as a reciprocation. Then what happens? Krodho vijaya. They become angry. They become angry. And isn't the world angry? Whole world is angry. What is one significant or predominant symptom of the age of Kali? Quarrel. Hypocrisy and quarrel. Quarrel is nothing. Wars are nothing. Mahayuddha or गाली लोग गाली देते थे गाली समझते हो गाली calling bad names, that's a quarrel part. You go to Bengal and quarreling happens. A lot of quarrel goes on there. And instead of gali, they started khilana goli, bullets. This gali dena, this is old-fashioned, We are modern, we are advanced. We are not going to be satisfied just calling bad names. No, we'll feed goli, bullets. But that also is old-fashioned. So these exploiters were working day and night, 24/7. Making advancement. This quarrel, turning into the world wars, and Hari, which is also the conditioned souls. What do? They spend time in eating, 1, sleeping, 2, mating, 3, and defense, 4. You know how much time and energy and resources are invested in defense? The biggest budget of any government in the world is defense budget. Of course, animals also defend, but they have not made further progress. The dogs are biting, the donkeys are kicking each other with the foot. Unlike that, each living entity has his style, his way of defending. And they are kind of self-sufficient, They are built-in defense mechanism. But the human being, they think they are intelligent and they are misusing, abusing their intelligence by, see, from where to where. What kind of weaponry and missiles and drones and where is this world heading? And they also want to do this also to, if possible, grab more resources of that country or have more territory of neighboring country, so that they could have more resources from additional territory of the land. The survey was conducted several years ago, and I came to know the result of the survey. The survey was that if the world would want to have a lifestyle like an American lifestyle, kind of, exploitation or accumulation. This is not sufficient. This is not sufficient. They try to grab more and more and more and more. They also say, land of opportunity, America, the land of opportunity, land of opportunity. So, if the whole world was going to follow the American standard of enjoyment or lifestyle or standard of exploitation, you may say, then the survey said we would need 5 Earth's resources. We would need 5 Earths. They did say if the world was going to follow European standard, then said 3 Earths. But if Earth, they were going to follow the example of Bangladesh or India, then 1 Earth is more than sufficient. So this greed and feeling insufficient has no end. Really. Okay. Let me say that. Another survey conducted, to find out health-wise, healthy, wealthy-wise, health-wise, which nation is most healthy and which nation is most sick nation in the world. And again, they declared the results, and guess who was number 1? America, of course. America was declared to be the most sick nation in the world. They always like to be the number 1. Huh? They always like to be number 1. So when it comes to being sick, why should we 2 or 3 or all the way down there on the list? Number 1. And you know why? They are number 1 sick nation in the world. Because they are number 1 exploiters and enjoyers of the resources of Mother Earth. The simple law, which I was going to say, okay, I'll say it now, that Krishna has said that ehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaye evate. Have you heard this before? Ehi samsparshaja. Here, as the senses in the body. Body is just a bunch of senses. Well, a bunch is 11. 5 knowledge acquiring, 5 acting, working senses, and the mind is also there. So just to mount these different senses, body has given this particular shape with the bones and flesh and this one, that one. The idea is the living entity should have senses That's how they are going to be enjoying. And they should also have a mind which enjoys and suffers both. The rest is just extra stuff, the flesh and bones. But the purpose is, that's the idea, to have these senses working, knowledge acquiring, the mind is also there. And, yeah, okay. So as the senses come in contact with the objects of senses, Krishna is talking here now. Ehi samsparsha ja. As the senses come in contact with the sense objects, what happens there? Sparsha, the touch. As that touch happens, senses touching, or the touching, it's not only touching, or seeing is also there. Same sparsha. Hearing, same thing. Smelling, bad smells or cosmetics smeared all over the body of opposite sex, that also could be. So as senses come in contact of the sense objects, Krishna says, Ehi samsparsha ja. Something takes birth. Ja means taking birth or giving rise to. Ehi samsparsha ja bhoga. Some sort of enjoyment is experienced. Rather than a same sentence, in fact. These are two padas, two parts. The third one says, Adyantavantaha kaunteya. But this bhoga, this enjoyment derived, samsparsha ja, taken birth, has beginning, and soon it ends. You should take note of this. Anything that has beginning must what? Must end. Period, as they say. If anything that has taken birth must die. Jatashahi dhruva mrityu. If enjoyment had begun, it will end. That is what, this is Krishna's or Shastra's language, sutra, codified. Adyantamant, adi antavat. Enjoyment and suffering of this world is adyantavat, adi antavat. And then the fourth part of that same verse is Nateshu ramate buddhaha, buddhiman. Person who is intelligent person. What does he do? Nateshu ramate. He doesn't take part. He doesn't indulge in such activity or contemplation or exploration or exploitation. Doesn't get into that bhoga, because it will always end with roga. Bhoga ends with roga. And some Americans are bhogi, that is why they are number one rogis. So, Hari. So Krishna has, Prabhu cares? Krishna has said so many things. We go on, business as usual just goes on. Let him say. Let him say. Yes, a similar thing is dhyayato vishayan pumsam sangasteshu upajayate sanga sanjayate kama kamat, like this. It begins with the senses and sense objects doing this samsparshaja, the contemplation, dhyan, dhyayato, vishayan, vishay, one, vishayan, plural. Actually, there are 5 kinds of sense objects: shabda, sparsha, roop, ras, gandha. You go to these super bazaars and the mall culture is here. 5-star hotel culture is here. And from 5-star hotels, you go to 5-star hospitals. You get transferred. You get transferred from 5-star hotels to 5-star. And we will die in style. We'll die in a style. We are modern, we are educated, we are resourceful, we'll die in a style. So as one contemplates on objects of senses, Krishna says, what happens then? Dhyayato vishayan pumsam sangaha teshu upajayate. You develop sangha, attachment. This is what happens. You watch commercials, TV, breaking the news, and this product and that product. And as you see and then later on contemplate, or the advertisement is repeated over again and again and again, it's bombarded, and then you end up thinking, dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangaha teshu upajayate. You develop attachment. Oh, I must have it. I must buy this. I must buy this. You develop attachment. And then, what is next? Sanga sanjayate kamaha. Sanjayate. Jayate means takes birth. Sanjayate very nicely takes birth. Sanjayate. Sanjayate. Jayate is ordinary birth, ordinary giving rise, but sanjayate. Sanga sanjayate kamaha, and then kamat krodho vijayate. Kamat. As one tries to exploit the material nature, resources, the sense objects, what happens? Living entity is not satisfied. Frustration, which is outcome. And why that's another topic. Why it cannot be, living entity cannot be satisfied, never ever. They just think, because I'm garib, I have less resources, that is why I'm suffering. If I was a wealthy person, if I had all the resources, then I'll enjoy. No, you'll suffer more. More enjoyment, more suffering. And if you don't want to suffer, then what you should do? Do not enjoy. Yeah? Does that make sense? No? You're silent now. Whatever. But we are living entities, and by nature, living entity has a spirit of enjoyment. Because, our Supreme Father is Lord, and He is full of enjoyment. He enjoys and enjoys only. That's all that He does. He enjoys. So like Father, like Son, right? Like Father, like Son. We also must be enjoying. And Krishna wants us to enjoy, of course. But not the way you are trying to enjoy. This will never ever lead to the enjoyment. It will only end to the suffering. So we are on the way to understand that statement. Kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha. As you become angry and frustrated, sammoha, you become illusioned or bewildered. Then sammohat, smriti vibhramaha. Your memory is all in pieces and splitting and all over, and then what happens? Smriti bhramshat buddhi nasho. Smriti bhramshat buddhi nash. Or nash. Vinasha kale viparita. Acha, you also know this. I thought this is South India. You may not. Vinasha kale viparita buddhi. Vinasha kale viparita buddhi. And this kind of viparita buddhi is what we are acquiring mostly in the schools and colleges these days around the world. Krishna is ready to give us buddhi also. Dadami buddhi yogam tam tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Those who come to me and they do my bhajan, kirtan, all the time or a lot of time or as much time to that degree, I give them intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam. Aham dadami. Aham is silent there, but it is there. Aham dadami buddhi yogam. Who is this aham? Krishna. Krishna is ready to give us intelligence. And once we have that intelligence, what we would do, Krishna says, Ena mam upayanti te. They will use that intelligence to come. Upayanti. Yanti means to go. Go closer or come closer to me. So one intelligence brings us closer to the Lord, closest ultimately, next to Him, around Him. The other one, vinashakale viparita buddhi, or you are buddhu now. If you know, understand, buddhu. One is buddhiman, the other one is buddhu kahika. Buddhu. So Buddhu, what happens to this Buddhu? Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Nash. Vinash kale viparita buddhi kale. Nash. Not ordinary nash. That is why Lord does not say nashyati. What does Lord say? Pranashyati. Prakrishta rupena nashyati. Very nicely, he will fall down, glide down to hell. So we just have to reverse this process. Dhyayato vishayan pumsam. Instead of contemplating on sense objects, we contemplate on the Lord. Or even Lord's senses, Lord's form, Lord's activities. Dhyayato. And if we do that, again, same rule applies. What is the rule? Dhyayato vishayan pumsam sangasteshu pajayate. You will develop attachment. If you are contemplating on objects of senses and worldly things, you will develop attachment to those objects. But if you are contemplating upon the Lord, then again you will develop what? Attachment to the Lord. That mundane attachment was going to lead you to or give rise to kama, right? Kama. And our attachment to Krishna will give rise to prema. Right there. Your kama is replaced, substituted, or transformed into prema. And then kamat krodho vijayate. Well, in this case, you may also get angry if you come across some offender of Vishnu and Vaishnavas, or even Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to, hey, get angry. This whole instruction is to, get him to be angry and get up and fight. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhya cha. At a fight, you have to have some kind of anger. So there is transcendental anger. Oh, Baap Re Baap. Narsimhadev Bhagavan ki. How angry he was. He roared. The whole world was trembling. So that there'll be anger. In Krishna consciousness, anger has a role to play, but it's a transcendental and is not destructive but constructive purpose of that anger. And there the buddhi nash was talked about. Dhyayata vishya sangaseshu bhaya sangasya. Buddhi nash. Here in this case, dadami buddhi yogam. Lord personally is going to give you the intelligence, and there that mundane contemplation end was pranashyati, gliding down to hell. But in this case, param gatim. You will reach the final destination. Vrindavan dhama ki. Or mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahituki tvai. So the intelligent person will take to this path. Of chanting, dancing, studying Bhagavatam, especially associating with the devotees, sadhu sang, worshipping the deities, residing in the holy place. Those are the five items. Pancha Maha Sadhan. Sadhu sang, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vas or Hare Krishna temple Vas, and Vigraha Aradhana. These are the 5 items. We will take to this more seriously, and as Krishna gives us intelligence, we will follow this path and be busy with these activities, Krishna conscious activities, and we would like to share Krishna with the rest of the world also. This is, all devotees do this. They are made to do this, not forced, by nature. Karunikaha. And what else? Suridam sarva deina. Titikshvaha. Titikshvaha karunikaha. So these are the sadhava sadhubhushana. These are ornaments of the devotees. They are kind to others. For themselves, they are very tolerant. Suridam sarvabhutanam. Towards all the living entities, they are friendly. Friend is, who is a friend? Friend in need is? They are all needy. But they don't know what the need is. We know what they need. What they need. What do they need? What do they need? What is living entities need after all? Huh? Happiness. Okay. Where does happiness come from? Krishna. So ultimately they are in need of Krishna. So what they lack, Krishna devotees will provide. Not like LIC. The insurance. That is nothing, that kind of help. Money and this. Yeah, we don't need Lakshmi, we need Narayan. And once Narayan is there, then Lakshmi also will follow. You preach and the resources will follow. Prabhupada always said. Okay? So go on following process of Krishna consciousness. And I keep thinking, so I was thinking. Param drishtva nivartate. This is where we may be failing. Param drishtva nivartate. Vishaya nivartante niraharasya dehinam. We are doing sense control, mind control, endeavoring to control mind, senses, or desires. But the desire remains. But that desire will leave us forever, or to the degree that we develop higher taste. And Krishna is that higher taste. Our taste in the holy name, Ruchi, Name Ruchi. Not only Prasade Ruchi, Mahaprasade Govinde. Our taste to read, hear Bhagavatam. And it's a tasty. Devotee association, sadhu association is very relishable. So we develop that higher taste also. And what? Taste in what else? Higher taste? Any other items? Darshan, okay, darshan. Or yatras, go to Melkote. We are just now coming from Melkote. And that develops detachment. You are away from your routine business or activities, and you become vairagyavan. So higher taste has to be developed. All aspects of Krishna consciousness, higher taste. Sayana Pav. Prasadam also, higher taste. Sayana Pav, and fear, then so jao. Sayana Pav, so jao. No. Sayana Pav, Radha Krishna Guna Gao. If you have developed some higher taste in prasadam, then you would be doing Radha Krishna Guna Gao. We enjoyed prasadam, but not doing Guna Gao, then we'll be namak haram. You know, it's namak haram. We eat somebody's namak, salt. Of course, you don't eat only salt, food. And you don't do anything for him who fed us. But in our case, not namak haram, but sugar haram. We eat a lot of sweet dishes and payasam and whatnot. So how could we not be grateful to this person who has personality, who has given so much to us? So we get up and we would like to do something in return. Do lots of devotional service. Okay, so any comments, any takeaways? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for a very nice class. Maharaj, one question. When Krishna kills, after killing, he doesn't stay in the same mode of anger. But when Narsimha killed, he exhibited so much anger for so long. How can you understand that?
That's nothing. He's known for being angry, right? He's specialized in anger, Narsimha Bhagavan. So if he exhibited little extra anger for extra duration, that is his Leela. That's him. That's Narsimha. We cannot find fault. Hey, what kind of Lord you are, You are remaining angry for such a Lord. Because he's a Vigna Vinashak. He's a Vigna Vinashak, right? This is in fact, job description of Lord as he takes up this role. And not that he did not have this role at some point he always has this role. But he plays, that's Krishna, Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa. So he, as need, interest, concern, under circumstances, Lord appears in different different avatars, incarnations with different moods also. So that is Narsimha. Because we all have difficulties. Sarva sadhana badhakaha. This is another nature of Kali Yuga. Sarva sadhana badhakaha. Badha, obstacles. At every step of a devotee who is a sadhak. Sadhana badha, sadhaka badhaka. So then, at every step, Lord has to get angry and do something. But he's also known as not only Ugra Narsimha, he is also known for being Saumyan Narsimha, right? Saumya they call? You heard this name? Saumya. Cool. Shant Narsimha. So sometimes Ugra, sometimes. Okay, something.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. We are very grateful to you. My question was like you mentioned about the Param Drishtva Nivartate. So of course we have some taste, of course, but the taste doesn't long for 24%. All time. So how to maintain the taste? How we can maintain that taste for all the time, continuously? And is there any specific quantity that we should get so that we don't get into sense gratification?
Or taste and no taste and taste and no taste. If we go through this, right, the goal is bhakti is to be performed ultimately, eventually, for how long? All the time. It says apratihata. What is that? Ahaituki and apratihata. Two things are mentioned. Bhakti, devotional service that we perform should be ahaituki, no motivation, no mundane motivation, that's one thing. And the other thing is apratihata, means uninterrupted. So we have to see. So as we perform devotion service, higher taste develops. You have gone higher. Temporarily or maybe during the day, maybe there's some setback. But what happens is the taste that you had developed, that remains. You do not lose that. Next day, you are only adding on more test and more test and more test. So if we could, well, as we already said, make our devotional service more intense and uninterrupted. Both the things, more intense and uninterrupted. So if we could, those gaps in between us following the processes, if that could be minimized and minimized and minimized, bridge the gap, and really. So we have to practice. Abhyase abhyasena to kaunteya vairagena cha grayate. How to practice? First of all, it should be practiced. And when we talk of practice meant something that you do over again and again. That is called practice, right? That's what abhyas or practice. You do it over again and again. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena. That word sometimes we do not pay attention to. Just practice, abhyas, abhyas. But Lord says vairagena chagrayate. Virag. Rag means again attachment. Rag, opposite of rag is virag. And from that comes the word vairagya. So we have to cultivate spirit of detachment in all that we do. And how much progress you are making are you really making a progress in Krishna consciousness? Is your taste going higher and higher? Is measured by how much detached you are becoming, how much detached you are, how much vairagya you are cultivating. So, if you have developed taste for Krishna consciousness and chanting and devotee association, who cares for worldly affairs or worldly gain, worldly enjoyment? Naturally, it is expected. Naturally, you will kick out those things. Even without endeavor, but of course, you have to use intelligence and plan things. So we just have to go on. What is that? Never wasting time. What is that? Avyartha kalatvam. This is one of the avyartha kalatvam. Kal means time. Never invest your time or waste your time. Avyartha kalatvam. Devotees are known for this. Avyartha kalatvam. They try to use different situations. Somehow they try to Krishnaize or ISKCONize, and So we have a lot of time which could be used. We say, I'm busy, I'm too busy. No, but you have so much time here. Really. In toilet also you have time. You're traveling, you have time. Flying, driving, you could do something. Or while eating, you could use that time also. I do, many others do. Or there's a lunch break, you could, of course, if you're honoring prasadam, that's wonderful. Maybe you could hear some, or invite your colleagues to come take prasad. There's a festival, little festival there. You're transforming, converting that lunch period into a Krishna conscious activity. So like that, each one could, in his own life, his or her life, they could think how maybe I was just wasting that time. Not that I had no time, I'm just wasting time in useless gossip or Atyahara prayasasya prajalpa niyamagraha janasangasya laulasya shadabhira bhakti what? Vinashyati. So you could pay attention to each of these items. In my life, am I doing this business prajalpa? Atyahar, atiyahar, which doesn't only refer to eating too much, but that also includes earning too much unnecessarily. Earning too much. For what? You're going to eat only 3 rotis or 4 idlis only, even if you have more money. So, and knowing also, adhikam yo manneta, there's something like that. Those who try to acquire more and more, for acquiring more, sustaino, he is a thief. Dandamarati, he must be punished. This is also there, but worldly folks, they don't know this. What are the consequences of this deed, this activity of mine? Devotees think in advance. Prevention is better than cure. They're wise folks. They take everything into consideration. This is where shreyas and prayas, the immediate gain and long-term, in the long-term gain. So I think it's a kind of time management, or you really take charge of your life. Take charge of your life, and not other fools take charge of your life. They dictate you and ask you to do this or do that. Okay, that is something like that. Any?
Maharaj, if bad qualities weren't there, if anything there, it would have been easy for everybody to progress in spiritual life. So Lord is the source of everything. Why bad qualities were created? This question one.
Why? I'm missing some word.
Bad qualities. Bad qualities. Yeah. Why do they exist? Because if they hadn't been there, it would be easy for the people to progress. This is one question. Second question relevant to that. And a person, he hears for the first time that certain things are bad and he has to transform, he has to go back to the Lord. He is not from this material world, he is part and parcel of the Lord. And why is it that the transformation of the heart doesn't take place? He has to, he has to go through so much like difficulties, trials, tests, and so many other things.
Enough, I think. This will keep me busy for 7 days or something. Well, this world is created for 2 purposes, or the 2 purposes are served by creation of this world. This is explained in 11th canto of Bhagavatam. Navayogendras and Nimi, there's a discussion. And the 2 purposes is this world gives an opportunity for the conditioned souls to enjoy or become Ishwaras, the controllers, they want to. It is said that, the conditioned soul is in fact competing with the Lord. Is not competing with anyone else, but he is trying to compete with the Lord. So, Lord enjoys so much, right? So, living entity also likes to enjoy, so much, like the Lord. So, anyway, so he is given this Ishwar Bhav. This is kind of invested in his head, in his consciousness. And knowing what kind of consciousness he had at the time of death, which is a cumulative effect. I did this, I did that, action, reaction, and then the final, your thoughts. Anyway, to fulfill the desires which were there at the end of the previous life, you are given another body. You are given another body with another set of senses, another set of circumstances which are supposed to be conducive for your enjoyment. Or it could be also, it's time for you to vinashakale viparita buddhi, then that kind of intelligence and association, etc. is given. So that one purpose is served. A living entity is given opportunity to enjoy, be independent, be Ishwar, and but that's not the only purpose. That's not only purpose. Other purpose is you use all these facilities, resources in service of Krishna. Hari Sambandhi Vastunaha, they all belong to Hari and they are in relationship with the Hari. I will use everything in his service. And that will liberate you, that will make you free. As we're talking, developing detachment and higher taste, and then you'll be out of here. So one purpose of this world is to give a living entity a opportunity to enjoy, and other purpose is to become disentangled. How to disentangle, become free, become liberated, and ultimately become not just mukta but bhakta, and go back to Krishna, rejoin his company or his devotional services. But the choice is always yours. Take a pick, Arjuna also was given this, yatha ichasi, yatha kuru. It's up to you, Arjuna. I did my part. I gave some advice, which I thought was a good advice, but it's up to you. So Lord is giving choice. But what did Arjuna go for? He said, Karishe vachanam tava. I know you were willed. He had by now understood this fighting. Even if Arjuna did not fight, the fighting was not going to stop. Fighting must happen, will happen for sure. This is Lord's will. Otherwise, how vinashaya cha duskritam, how is that going to happen? That's one thing. So when Arjuna realized, then he made Lord's will his will. And he was not willing independently. Anyway, I think he got the point, the first point. So both things are existing. But when we get intelligence from the Lord, not from the worldly folks or your professors or scientists, they go for pratyaksha, vad, and then this. So if you are really intelligent, or the function of the intelligence is the power of discrimination. This is bad, this is good, this is spirit, this is dead matter, this is hell, this is heaven, this is Maya, this is Krishna. Who determines this? Intelligence. With the help of intelligence, you know. So yes, both things are existing, good and bad, Maya and Krishna. Well, why Krishna has created? Well, that's another question. But the living entity has this nature. They're parts and parcels. So Lord's characters are also in this part and parcel. Lord likes to enjoy. Then sometimes living entity also wants to enjoy independent of Lord. But with the intelligence, with the help of intelligence, we go for Krishna, leaving Maya aside. You will not be never ever destroy Maya. Maya will continue to exist. And Lord has said, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Devi Ishai, I'm changing. Devi Ishahi Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. My Maya. First of all, Lord says, this Maya is my Maya. I am powerful, right? So my Maya also has to be powerful. It's not your Maya, it's not my Maya, it's Lord's Maya, Mama Maya. And that is why Duratyaya, very difficult to overcome or transgress and transcend. But then in the same breath, Lord says, Mama eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Mama eva, again eva. Remember we had talked about eva? Mama eva. If you surrender to me only, then mayam etam tarantite, you will transcend Maya. So this is the knowledge and this is the science, how to transcend, how to stay away. I think we could just stick to this one question, one answer for today. Or I'll check anyone else has. Is that okay? Maybe I have said answers in.
Thank you very much for your wonderful divine association. I have a simple question. How to control the anger in the most provoking situation?
How to?
Control the anger in the most provoking situation, even after practicing Krishna consciousness for so many years.
You should sit down and take a deep breath. Do pranayam. No, it's not a laughing matter. Yes, so your mind will calm down. This is one thing. You could also wash your face, if not take bath. Or one thing for sure, when you are angry, do not take decision and act upon it during your anger period. Don't do anything. because you have lost your intelligence, in fact, right? Brain does not work when you are angry. So most of the time you are going to end up doing something which you are going to be frustrated or lament. Oh, why did I do this? I wish I had not done. And before you enter into a situation or even a dialogue or encounter with a person or a party or what, if you kind of sense there's going to be some debate or argument and there's a good chance of losing the temper and getting angry, both the parties. I think if you have assessed in advance and then enter circumstances, or then you will have more control over all that you talk or your mind's wanderings, and so you will have a better outcome. Like same thing, prevention is better than cure. So if you prepare, a lot of times we are not prepared and we are taken by surprise, and then we end up getting angry and doing this and but you could do some homework before, right? Something like that. Oh, this is you. Ah. Who is? Last question. Okay, one Mataji also has.
So, my question is for common question for all initiated devotees. So, since you are initiating spiritual master, you are the right person to answer, I thought. So, question is that sometimes disciple undergoes some crisis in his life, and Guru comes in dream and he's saying what this is what has happened, and you have to take this decision. So, such instruction should be taken seriously, or because every day we decide nama brothers in that third offenses.
You are breaking for me, so I'm missing something. So, are you finished? Maybe someone could repeat.
Guru is coming in the dream.
Guru is coming in the dream. I say, okay.
Giving some instruction, should that be taken seriously?
If the Guru coming in the dream and giving instructions, should those instructions be taken seriously? Well, Tukaram Maharaj, I'm just remembering. He says, this is his kind of autobiography, which is not prose but poetry, abhangas. He says he was initiated in the dream. And given such and such mantra. So when he woke up, he took that as real, including he took that initiation as factual, actual, and that he was initiated in the dream, and then continued to chant the mantra and like that. So that's one example of Tukaram Maharaj-like person taking dream seriously, spiritual master in the dream. But yeah, I mean, if you are not sure, you could share your dream with some seniors or your Shiksha Guru, or maybe you could get back to your spiritual master and ask him, could this dream be translated into action? Or yeah, you could double check with some authority or some seniors if you're doubting.
Maharaj, you were in a request, you were deeply explaining Bhagavad Gita word to word, and I want to hear more every shloka of yours. Like, do you have any classes or do you have any recommendations, and how to develop that deep understanding of the books that can please tell?
I mean, Prabhupada has written or designed his books. I think one purpose on his mind, Sanskrit sloka, word meaning, transliteration is called, translation, and the purport, is that just by reading his books, well, I wouldn't say just by, but that also, by reading his books, devotees also will learn the Sanskrit language. It could come handy, very helpful. I try to, because while giving the transliteration, I mean, word meaning, shabdartha. The Sanskrit language, written or spoken, written language, seems to be difficult because of these compound words. In Sanskrit, there's a concept called sandhi. Two words are put together. Not only two, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes there could be a whole page, just one word. So if you could do sandhi vichhed, break the sentence into individual words, that makes job very easy. So, while Prabhupada has done that word meaning, each individual word is translated, Shabdarth is there. So by that you could also understand maybe some other verses. Athato brahma jigyasa. Is athato. There are two words here, atha and ataha. A lot of times you may know what is atha and what is ataha. But when they are put together, athato, then you kind of, what is this word? What does this mean? But if you could break it down, atha meaning now. Atha means now, and ataha means therefore. Well, this much we understood the word meaning, but then purport is, now that you have become human being, attained this humanhood or something. Ataha, therefore, what you should do? Athato Brahma Jigyasa. You should make inquiry into Brahma. And then you understand more. So again, Sandhi Viched, you understand individual words, but still you may not understand. So there you need some Vyakhya or the commentary of that verse, the purport. Anyway, so you could do your self-study, continue yourself, or you could always take help from any devotees, so the well-versed or kind of know Sanskrit, so basic Sanskrit. Come on, you are from South India, we're expecting. Huh? Which one? You? Okay, your name, Prabhu? Kaustubh Prabhu. So, Kaustubh is one, I think. You could do some, maybe teaching, Sanskrit teaching, whatever you know, as much as you know. Share your knowledge with others. How many of you would like to learn? No? Oh, at least for now, in my presence, you are. Well, I know some, little bit, but it is my desire. In fact, it was Prabhupada's desire. Prabhupada was for Sanskrit language. He wrote glories of Sanskrit and how it should be propagated. He wrote that in a prospectus in Jhansi in 1954 when he founded League of Devotees. And League of Devotees eventually turned into International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Or devotees say, at least devotees of Jhansi say, ISKCON was conceived in Jhansi, delivered in New York. So while the conception was happening, that time, Prabhupada, in that whole document, prospectus of the League of Devotees, he has talked so much about Sanskrit and learning and promotion and propagation. So, and gateway, knowledge of Sanskrit is gateway of or to the body of spiritual knowledge, Prabhupada says, the gateway. Or once you know Sanskrit, you have a chabi, kunji, you have a key. You could open the treasure and understand real and deeper meanings of the words. As you know, and it is also said, Sanskrit is not translatable language. It cannot be translated. Translation of dharma cannot be religion. Religion is not a translation of dharma. Dharma is a lot more, much more and deeper than what is these days known as religion. And like that, each word is like that. Deeper meaning, many meanings, and eternal meanings. Yeah, so I would like to encourage you. Yeah, take up some Sanskrit studies. I also have one book called Sanskritoccharan. Pronunciation of Sanskrit. So not only Lord gave Vedas, but he also gave Vedangas. So Vyakaran is Vedanga. There are 6 Vedangas. Siksha, the pronunciation, is another Vedanga. Chanda is another Vedanga. And Vedangas are meant for understanding or studying the Vedas. Without help of these Vedangas, you cannot penetrate through or cannot get deeper into the body of knowledge which is there in Vedas. So Vedangas, Vyakaran, the grammar, which is mouth of, anyway, if all the Vedangas are considered a person, all the Vedangas are put together are called person, then Vyakaran is a mouth. It says one Vedanga is like a hands, one Vedanga is like a feet, one is like a head, like that. So Vyakaran is like a mouth. Anyway, so anything else?
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for giving your association yesterday and today morning with wonderful kirtans and enlightening us with the knowledge of Bhagavatam. Especially today we spoke about how to give up how we extend the temporariness of the sense gratification and taught us how to develop the higher taste. It's been very grateful to you. So Maharaj is actually, how many of you are hearing from Maharaj for the first time live? First time? Many of you. So many of you may know Maharaj is a direct initiated disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj appeared in this world in 1949 and Maharaj met Srila Prabhupada in 1971. When Mahaprabhupada was doing big Pandal program, 20,000 people attending every day, and from that 2 sannyasis joined.